Last Tuesday, Apple announced that they're bringing Apple Silicon to the new MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini. Exciting times for the new M1 processor. At OCAD University, we've ordered a couple of these models to actually test them out, but we will not be receiving them for some time, probably a few weeks. Apple is touting some pretty impressive performance numbers, and some of those stats are starting to show up on Geekbench, which suggests that the single core performance of these machines is faster than any Intel-based Mac that Apple currently sells. Pretty impressive. However, many of the YouTube videos being made right now are all based on conjecture and things that Apple has published. And as information starts to trickle out, you might be thinking of buying a new MacBook Pro or MacBook Air or Mac Mini and wondering what advice you should follow. So here's what I would recommend. You essentially have three choices. You could wait until the early reviews are out amongst the number of YouTube folks who are also receiving MacBook Pros for evaluation. So just wait and see what other people say. The second thing that you could do is actually just choose to purchase an Intel-based MacBook Pro. Apple has not dropped the higher end Apple MacBook Pros in the 13-inch category from their sales pages. They are still selling those machines, and they're still selling an Intel-based 16-inch MacBook Pro. So if you need a laptop right now, that option might be attractive to you. The third thing that you could choose to do is be wild and be an early adopter. Fortune favors the bold, sometimes. There's already information trickling out about the M1 processors, which may swing your decision one way or the other. These include, for one, many apps have not been rebuilt to take best advantage of the M1 processor just yet. For example, Adobe Creative Cloud will first see modifications to Lightroom and Photoshop either this year or early next, but there has been no further mention of the slate of various other applications within the Creative Cloud portfolio, which could best take advantage of the M1 processor, applications like Adobe Premiere Pro. Secondly, you may have very specific requirements around external devices, which may or may not be compatible or work optimally with the new M1 processor. For example, the new M1 processor-based MacBook Pros only have two Thunderbolt USB-style connectors and will only drive one external display. If you need to drive two external displays, that might not be the machine for you. The other thing we know about these new machines is that they do not support external GPUs. So that is not a solution either if you're a gamer or if you want to drive external displays using any GPU. If you also have a number of external hardware interfaces or I/O devices that you connect to your Mac that you're wondering if they're compatible, these also might factor into your decision as to whether you jump on this new platform at this time. For example, do you have an audio interface that you rely upon heavily, and is there a driver for that interface, and do you know that it works well with the M1 architecture? Of course, in all of these situations, you're going to want to check the hardware vendor to see what their claim of support is for many of these devices and applications. While some manufacturers have stated that they're going to be compatible with Big Sur, they are not stating compatibility yet with the M1 architecture. So might be best to wait if you're in that situation. While being wild and an early adopter is kind of fun, you may be kind of on your own for the first bit in trying to determine what of your applications work well and do not. I highly recommend you check out my other video, which is all about Apple Silicon and Boot Camp, as there's a really great conversation happening over there, and also some tips about if you're an artist or designer and you have a pre-existing workflow that depends on Windows. Largely, you will not be able to natively boot these machines into Windows 10, and you may have to rely on some kind of virtualization or other alternative. That's it for me. I hope to be posting some more information as I receive a new M1 based machine and try it out and put it head to head with my existing 16-inch MacBook Pro. And as well, I might have another machine coming online, possibly from another PC hardware vendor who is very competitive with Apple in the creative space. And maybe we can do some benchmarks head to head, and that will be good fun. But until that time, stay safe and stay sane.